Welcome back to Healthy Living. My next guest is Marla Rabalais. Marla Rabalais is a child passenger safety technician for the St. Tammany Parenting Center, and she's also a health educator. She's got a bunch of other letters behind her name. We're not going to say that. It'll take the whole segment. So, Marla, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Amy. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So just tell us a little bit personally about you, Marla.
Actually, Amy, I'm a registered dietitian. That's some of those letters that are behind my name. I worked inpatient in the hospital for years and years and years, and I really enjoy community education. So when this opportunity came at the Parenting Center, that was like a chance for me to get back out into the community. I teach CPR. I became a child passenger safety technician. I teach nutrition. I work with the Covington Community Garden, doing education with kids in the garden. So I get to get out in the community and see people and interact, and that's what I really enjoy.
Sounds like you love what you do.
I do.
That's
I do.
great.
This has been a great job.
So we were just talking with Joe. You know, it's brutally hot outside. It's going to get hotter. We keep, excessive heat warnings
Absolutely.
or just the red flags are up everywhere.
Every day.
So you see a lot of parents and children all the time, every day in your job, and you, as a child passenger safety seat technician, you teach proper ways to install it. So with the heat the way it is right now, what are some things that we can talk to parents about as far as keeping their child comfortable in the car seat? Because, we're all running around doing all kinds of things. And the summer's hot. We want to make sure that those kids are comfortable and safe. So what are some things you can talk about for parents? We
encourage parents, if the vehicle's been sitting for a while, to go ahead and go out there, turn on the AC, start getting it cooled down. Watch out for the buckles and straps. All of these car seats have metal buckles and straps. You can throw an old towel in there so that if there's direct sunlight coming in, it doesn't heat up those metal buckles, because you don't want that touching the child's skin and burning them. And then people have a tendency to want to leave their kids in the car with the AC running. We don't recommend that. In Louisiana and nationwide, we have about 1 death per every 10 days with kids being left unattended in a vehicle that overheats. Even if the AC's on, you don't know if that's going to continue.
Right.
So we want to encourage parents never to leave that child alone in the car. And of course, we've had some deaths with parents being out of their normal routine. Maybe it was your turn to take the child to daycare, but you had this important interview you had to do, and you forgot, and the child fell asleep in the car, and they were left in the car. So we want parents to do things to remind themselves. And of course, the auto manufacturers have helped with this. They've developed a lot of warning things. If you put something in the back seat, when you stop your car, it gives you a bell or a signal to check the back seat. That's helpful. That's helpful. There's car seats that have clips that are Bluetooth to your phone. So if that, and work with the vehicle, if they're not unclipped within a certain period of time, you're going to get a message to your phone. Talking to your daycare provider, if my child's not there by 8:15, my usual time, please call me. Right. If you don't get me, please call my spouse, my significant other, whoever else brings the child to daycare. So setting up some of these things, processes in place beforehand. And just for yourself, if you don't have the fancy car seat, if you don't have the car that alerts you, you can do things like taking a teddy bear and when it's the child's not in the seat, putting the teddy bear in the seat, and then when you place the child in the seat, take the teddy bear and put it up front with you.
Okay, so then when you look at the teddy bear, that should be a trigger.
That should be a trigger for you to check the back seat. A friend of mine used to take her left shoe off.
I've heard that one.
She took her left shoe off and put it in the back with the baby, and then that way when she got out, she only had one shoe. That triggered her to go check on the baby.
And I've heard people leave their handbags in the back seat.
Their handbags, as long as they're secure, because anything that's loose in your vehicle, and that brings up a good point as far as child passenger safety, anything that's loose in your vehicle is a projectile.
Okay.
And so if you're in an accident, that purse, that backpack, that Yeti cup is traveling at 50 miles an hour, or whatever the vehicle was traveling.
Yeah.
And that can injure you as well as your child. So securing all of those things There's all kinds of, like all of the car manufacturers are coming out with the mesh straps and things, sticking stuff under the seat so it doesn't become a projectile. Those are all good ideas.
So the car heats up pretty quickly in the
car heats up pretty quickly. Safekids.org, and everybody can go on there and look at their videos online. There's tremendous amount of great safety information. They have a video, and a man was at a gas station. He's one of us. He was at a gas station and just we're showing people how fast cars heat up. The ambient temperature, so the outside temperature was 84 degrees. He was just talking like we are to a lady. In about 5 minutes, it went up to 119 degrees inside the car. So, and here in Louisiana, it's very rarely 84 degrees.
Yeah,
so
we're in the upper 90s.
We're in the upper 90s, so it's going to heat up tremendously.
What about so let's talk about, that is great advice. I love all the reminder tips that you've given, and I think that's helpful. And I think as we raise awareness of the dangers of it, because I don't know that a lot of parents, I don't remember, like, I know that I didn't leave my children in the car, and usually there was another adult with me,
another
right?
adult.
But I think that maybe sometimes parents think, oh, I'm just gonna run in and grab whatever, even if they're in their driveway. And it can be dangerous.
It can be dangerous, and all of these vehicles now are electronic. Things can electronically lock. You can get locked out.
Right.
There's just so many reasons not to leave them alone in the car.
Right. So let's talk about, we've kind of covered that, which is great. And let's talk about the comfort level of the actual child. Because, you know, you have a baby, you want to cover their feet, you want to cover their head, you want to cover this. What about in the summertime?
In the summertime, they don't need all of that. And the other thing about babies is they don't regulate their temperature like we do. Their temperature, it's a slower regulation. It's slower to cool off. So they don't need all of that. Okay. They don't need all of that even in the winter time. And I think we're going to talk about that a little bit too, about blankets and things at home.
Yeah.
But they don't need all of that. So you've got to make sure that whatever environment they're in, they're a little bit cooler than what feels comfortable to you.
Okay, that's good to know. All right, good. And they need to stay hydrated.
They need to stay hydrated.
How would you do that?
Even little babies, if they're being breastfed and all that, the weather that we've had the last few days, this extreme excessive heat, you still need to be giving them a little bit of water. We don't want them to fill up on water, but they still need to be given a little bit of water.
Okay. So let's move to our next topic, because I want to cover that before we have to wrap up. So in the same vein as keeping our babies safe in the car, we want to keep our babies safe at home. So very quickly, where is the best place for your baby to sleep and why?
ABC, Amy, easy to remember. Alone, on their back, and in their very own crib. They need to be on a firm, flat surface. They don't need anything around them, no blankets, no pillows, no stuffed animals. They need to be alone on their back in their very own crib. You can have the crib in the room with you, you can have it next to the bed, but you don't want to co-sleep. Here in St. Tammany, we've had recent incidents of some accidental asphyxiation, parents sleeping with children in the bed and accidentally rolling over on them and smothering them, and we want to prevent that. And our St. Tammany Parish Coroner's Office has a program called Cribs for Kids. If you can't afford a crib, if you will attend one of their safety presentations, they will provide you with a crib, your very own crib that is safe, that's been safety tested and everything, to put that baby alone on their back in the crib.
All right, now I wanted to make sure we got that in, because that is great information. Well, thank you so much, Marla, for joining us. Is there anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
The Parenting Center is open Monday through Friday, 9 to 1, for parents and kids to come in. We do potty training information. We do, that was last week, tons of information. We teach classes every month or every other month for new parents called Mommy and Daddy Boot Camp. And they're taught by veteran moms and dads, but they're younger. They're not veterans like we are, but they're younger. And it's a great way to spend a Saturday morning. The dads go, it's at the hospital. The dads are in one conference room, the moms are in the other. And it's everything that nobody tells you before you have this baby, kind of thing. What you need to know when you get home from the hospital.
And if you go to the Parenting Center, you will meet Marla and the rest of their wonderful team. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Amy. Thanks for letting me get that information. The child safety is a big something that's near and dear to my heart.
Well,
so
we
I
appreciate it. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. And thank you for joining us for this episode of Healthy Living. We'll see you next time.